Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10x your life, your business, all of it. Time to crush those goals. Time to get after it. Let's go. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. We're coming to you again from beautiful downtown Springfield in the Big Dog Construction Studio. Hey, we've got so much going on in Springfield right now. Make sure you are participating. Get out there, network with folks, be a part of the community, support local businesses, support local nonprofits, and let's go. We can all grow together. So, hey, another great episode for you today. We're going to get right to our guest after the break. Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing experts serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. All right, and we are back. Merry Christmas, y'all, if you're listening to this on drop date. So in the studio with me, we've got Michelle Tjelmeland from District 23. Michelle, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. I'm ready for Christmas. So very merry and festive,
You
right?
are, with the green jacket. I love it.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
My favorite color. So
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. One of my wife's favorite colors too. She loves green.
Okay.
She's always loved that green.
Me too.
So we'll appreciate you coming down and visiting with me. So
Very excited
fun.
to be here. And it's always fun collaborating with people. So thank you for the invitation.
absolutely. Well, we're going to talk about the business. We're going to talk about District 23 and a number of different things. But first, let's learn a little bit about Michelle. Tell us about your background.
Okay, so I'm going to make the long story as short as I possibly can because I feel like I should be 99 with my background. But I was a former 7th and 8th grade language arts teacher. So I taught my first year in Auburn and then moved to Springfield and taught at 186 Franklin Middle School. Absolutely loved it. Loved the students, loved the youth, loved trying to shape their minds and their future. It was really great. During my 3rd or 4th year of teaching, I got married to my husband, Joel. We're approaching our 30th wedding anniversary, so I'm very proud of that. And it was during the 3rd, 4th year that we got married. So we got married in June, and I went back to school in August. We didn't go on a honeymoon or anything because we had it all planned that we were going to go in the winter on my Christmas break.
Yeah.
So shortly after we got married, like 6 weeks, I found out I was pregnant. And
Okay.
so those plans were derailed a little bit. So we couldn't go on that vacation. And ironically, during my pregnancy, I went profoundly deaf. So started losing my hearing. And it was like developing rather quickly, and then lost all of it. And then I went into preterm labor. And let's fast forward. Oldest daughter, Ellie, was born at 29 weeks. And when she was born, we found out that she was deaf. No history of hearing loss in our family. So my husband and I got married. He married a hearing young school teacher ready to go save the world. And then all of a sudden, right after we got married, I lost my hearing, and then our daughter was born deaf. So we're newlyweds. We're experiencing, the first year of marriage, first 6 months of marriage. And then me losing my identity as a teacher, and then having a child that was born without hearing, and it was all quite overwhelming. So it was during that time that I started looking into our options. Now, this is back in 1998, so a long time ago. So it was AOL times,
Oh, sure.
dial-up,
Yeah,
you got mail. Anyway, We looked at school for the deaf. We looked at sign language, cued speech. We looked at all the things to try to figure out how we were going to be able to communicate with her, how she could communicate with us. And we ended up looking into cochlear implants. They were rather new. And so at that time, there hadn't been very many children that had cochlear implants. And so although they started doing the studies in the 70s and the 80s, there weren't a lot of young children. And so I was having trouble because we had gone and had her hearing tested multiple times, about 9 times actually. And it came back either inconclusive or that she was fine. And so she left the hospital. So this is between birth and 9 months. And I kept telling my husband, something is wrong. Now, remember, I can't hear either. So it was a bit of a disaster, right? So I'm emotional, trying to figure out how to be a first-time mom. I'm not teaching, a wife, and then like I can't communicate with him.
A ton of
And
change all
so
at once. Like
it was a
ton.
lot. It was a lot. And so I said, I really think that there's something wrong with her. And so a mother's instinct. So this was before they did newborn hearing screenings. So I found the number one specialist in New Orleans, Dr. Charles Berlin, and made contact with him through his office. My mom would come over and call for me because I couldn't use the phone. And I remember I was relentless. Mom, you got to call, just keep calling the office so that we could get a phone call back. So this specialist that diagnosed young children, he was the man that taught all the people that were going to become ENTs. And like textbook wrote, he was a professor. And so we got a hold of his office and they said, oh, we're only around 2 times a week. You can come in. I don't know. They gave us a date. And I said, okay. So my husband comes home that night and I said, hey, we're going to go to New Orleans. We're going to get this figured out. And he thought I had absolutely lost my mind. He said, you're insane. How many people do you need to tell you that she's fine? And I said, I don't.
You're the mother. You know
so
something.
You can go with me or not. And he
Right.
said, well, of course I'm going to go with you. But so we get on Bourbon Street with the umbrella stroller, the baby stroller. And it was like right down in that area. And within 20 minutes, they diagnosed her as profoundly deaf at birth. So that is where we started pursuing the options. She was the second youngest child in the United States to get a cochlear implant. And then I followed in the year 2000. And it was during that time that I realized too, I needed to reinvent myself. And so that was a real struggle for me because I truly loved being a teacher. But when you can't hear, it's really hard to be an effective classroom teacher. And I was born with hearing. So it was my daughter that was born deaf says often, Mom, it was much harder for you because you knew a difference.
Right,
You used to
right.
be able to hear and then you lost it. Where for me, I have had no comparison and I didn't know any different. So,
And with yours, if you don't mind me asking,
uh-huh.
was it a genetic thing that you just lost it?
So we had all this testing done. And so this is like 26, 27 years ago. And Byrona Keats was one of the people who did a study on us. And that was back in the day when they were trying to figure out all the genetic stuff. We were really it was too early for us to figure that out. Now, so we had the testing done and it came back inconclusive, but I was like, there's got to be something. Well, long story short, my sister, when she got pregnant, so I have one sibling and she's 7.5, 8 years younger than me. When she got pregnant, she went deaf. She also has a cochlear implant. Our aunts, our mom, they have hearing loss, but so does the rest of the world. As we get older, our hair cells, they fall out. And so that's what moves in your ear to vibrate and cause the vibrations of sound so that you can hear. Our hair cells, just like our regular hair, gets thin and falls out. That happens in your ear as well. So that's kind of a normal progression of aging is, you get a little weaker, your eyes get a little worse, maybe your hearing gets a little worse. But so anyway, yes, to answer your question, it is definitely genetic. We just don't know exactly how, but they've come out with some blood tests and some other testing. So Ellie, my daughter, is looking into that for us just because we want to be able to see, not necessarily for us, but for her children, for my sister's children, and then Lucy. So we have a second daughter, Lucy, and she was born with hearing. But at the time, when we were looking and trying to figure everything out, they said likely your second child has a 50% chance of being born with hearing loss as well. So, and that certainly didn't stop us, but in that like span of like around the year 2000, it was actually a little before that. I was like, well, I'm going to have to do something. I loved obviously being with my daughter, but we also needed my income. So I started doing some research and I found that the University of Illinois in Champaign was offering a master's in education in computer technology. It was sponsored by Bill Gates. It was the first online cohort. So it was a hybrid.
Yeah.
And that program started in like, I want to say it was 98, end of like 98. And so I went back to school and I got my master's degree while I couldn't hear, but it was great because it was all online. So again, this is like AOL, like dial-up time. So
Yeah.
this was the true online learning. It was like the first class of online learning. And so during that time, I learned how to develop websites and I really liked it. And I thought, you know what? My husband's a business owner. I was raised in a family business. And so I thought, this is really great. So had a lot of friends that had businesses. So I developed my first website for my husband who sells cars. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. And then I did a second. And then I had a friend who owned Hallmark stores. And so I went to him and I said, hey, I feel like you need a website. And he said, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I mean, this was like when people still had fax machines.
Right.
And so he's like, no, I mean, I think we're good. And I said, just let me do this for you and let's see how it goes. And so I started eWebSmart. So I own a website and development firm. So it was during that time, that's how I started and was able to continue making money and
Yeah.
income. And then our second daughter was born. And so I did that. I worked from home for 10 years. And then slowly I was like, I'm going to develop a blog. So I developed a blog called iloveLA.com. And that was from 1998 to roughly 2005. And the blog was entirely our journey of parents and essentially stepping into a world that we were never expecting. And just talking about how to deal with choices in deafness, the different options that are available. And because cochlear implants aren't right for every family. And I've always said that. It might be cued speech. It may be a school for the deaf. It depends what's right for you and your family.
Sure.
As someone who homeschools, you understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And so through this blog, I was connecting with hundreds of family members that were going through the same experience. And no one ever talked about the emotional repercussions of having a child born with a loss of something. And so I talked about that, not only from the perspective of personally and someone who had hearing and lost it, but also as a mom. And dealing with these first-time parents or second, whether it's their first child or their 10th kid, like it's quite devastating when you learn something like that and you want the best for your children. You want them to be successful and you have all these hopes and dreams. And, I just remember sitting and bowling and I was holding her and thinking, she's going to be going to kindergarten someday and nobody's going to want to sit with her at the lunch table. All the things that as parents, we have these hopes and dreams for our children. And so this blog connection just started happening and I helped one family and then I helped two and then I helped 10 and then it was 100 and then it was 1,500. And so in 2005, one day I rolled over literally in the morning. My husband went to get my coffee. He's every day that we've been married, he gets my coffee for me in the morning. And so he brings me my coffee and he was like, well, so what do you have today? And I said, well, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm going to go start a nonprofit today. And he said, Michelle, nobody just goes and starts a nonprofit. And I said, well, I do.
Here we go.
And so I did. And, that took about a year. I called everybody I knew, paid what I could to the people who I needed to get the expert help from, had a lot of friends that were supportive in the endeavor that knew a little bit about starting a nonprofit. And so in 2005, I started the Cochlear Implant Awareness. This is our 20th year of something that I'm
Congrats
very,
on that.
thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you. I love it. So the foundation provides cochlear implant equipment to individuals who need it and can't afford it, don't have insurance. We work with all major ear and eye institutes throughout the United States, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Northwestern, Lurie's Children's Hospital, you name it. We work with them. We serve their patients. So a lot of people, whether or not they may have had insurance, either their deductibles are too high, their insurance may not cover it. And we know money is tight everywhere. The cost has risen on everything.
Absolutely.
With cochlear implants, the amazing thing is it's just like cell phone technology. So if it's an iPhone 17 that's out right now, that doesn't mean that an iPhone 14, 15, or 16 are bad or that they don't work. work, we know that they do. And that somebody would be very grateful to have
Absolutely.
that old phone. And so it's very similar to cochlear implants. And so I thought, why can't I have an inventory bank where we receive people's old cochlear implant equipment, or from the manufacturers when they deem the equipment obsolete, they send it to us and then we will distribute it. And that's exactly what we've done. So it's very rewarding. Joan Carndiff is a director of that program. So she works, it's a medical device. So we don't charge for the equipment. It's an application based fee. And we're international. So we started it's a hearing health hospital in Romania, where we gave $564,000 worth of cochlear implant equipment so that they could start that.
$564,000 worth.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And so it was a doctor from Wash U that we helped her patient. And then she decided that she wanted to go on and do work to help others. So she went to a third world country and started this. And we have since, we are international. And the amount of people that we help, when I look at the applications and see what Joan has done and how she's helped grow this program even more, it's simply incredible. And so that's my life's work, and that's my passion, and to show people that they're going to be okay.
No doubt about it.
If they choose cochlear implants as a path. Our daughter, she is a college graduate, so she was a college athlete, and she went to University of Southern Indiana and then Northwestern, and so she's in the ENT field of medicine.
Yeah.
And so that's quite cool to see. And then Lucy, our 25-year-old, lives in Fort Lauderdale. So every day I like to tell this story. She sends a picture, Robert, from the beach before or after work.
Sure.
And then I send a picture from South Grade. So
Yeah.
my District
Same,
23
right?
is, yeah. And I'm like, really? Who's winning life here? But it is so great to have adult kids. And I know you mentioned that you have 2 daughters. And it seems like just yesterday, our kids were the age of your girls. And it goes so fast. But I will tell you, the most incredible, rewarding part of my life has been raising these amazing girls that have turned into awesome adult human beings, and seeing them live their lives and their dreams, and watching them flourish and thrive. So I love that. And you have so many amazing times ahead. They say blink and it goes like that. It's such an honor to be a parent, and to all the ages and stages. And I love I love being an adult parent the best,
Yeah.
because you can finally be a friend with your
Right,
kids,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
No doubt about
anyway.
it. Mine are 15 and 12 right now, and it just feels like yesterday they were 5 and 2.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, when you're walking through the mall or you see Santa Claus, you have those, like this time of the year, those flashbacks of taking your kids, if that's something your family likes to do, or going to Christmas festivals, whatever it is. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a blank in time. So I had the foundation, and then my friend said to me one year, she said, I want to do a fundraiser for you. And she said, we'll call it Socks for Sound, and this is how we can raise some money. And we've never received any state or federal funding. So we're fully self-funded. So I said to her, well, okay, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. Like, that's not me. I'm not a crafter.
Right.
Like, I don't have patience for that. And so
Get the experts in, let them do their thing, right?
Absolutely. And I appreciate everybody who can do that, because I have a lot of friends that come in to my rescue all the time, but that's not me. So she said, I'm going to make this pattern, and it's going to be a stocking. So we'll call it Socks for Sound. And so she said, we'll do it out of burlap. Her name is Brandy Lazowski. And so anyway, she said, and then we'll paint them. And I was like, Brandy, I am not doing that. I don't paint. And she said, no, we're going to get women, and we'll get these women. And I said, what women? Like, where? And she said, we're just going to put a call out. We're going to put a call out. And she said, we're going to tell them that we need help sewing and painting these stockings.
Sure.
And then we're going to sell them. And I said, okay, I don't know. And she said, it's going to be great. So I said, all right, well, what do you need? And she said, well, I need you to get the paint and the fabric. My cousin Ivy happened to have, like, I don't know, some crazy amount, 50 yards or 100 yards of burlap fabric that we needed left over from her wedding. She used them for table runners or tablecloths. So we got the fabric, and then we went to Lowe's, Menards, Hobby Lobby. We got paint donated. And then Brandy made the pattern. And so all of a sudden, we had these women popping up all over Springfield in their
Wow.
garages. We gave them the pattern, and then all these women were cutting it out. They were sewing and they were painting.
Uh-huh.
And that's the beginning of District 23.
That's
so
awesome.
it gives me goosebumps to this day to talk about this. So Brandy, it was just, she, came to me with this idea, and I was like, all right, let's go for it. And we were doing these stockings and sending them and shipping them all over the United States. And so we did it a second year and a third year. And then my friend Mark Roberts, who had a building on MacArthur, I went to him and I was like, hey, this program has really kicked off. And, I feel really bad. Like, we're doing Socks for Sound in these garages in the middle of winter with no heat. I feel like I probably need to look at what I can do. And he had all sorts of investment properties. So we had this house, and I said, can I rent it? And he was like, I don't care. It's just sitting there empty. So we started at 1413 South MacArthur.
Uh-huh.
So we started just with the Socks for Sound program. And then my friend Brandy says to me again, and Laura Gears, they're like, well, Michelle, you have such a great eye. You should start a store. And I'm like, that is the last thing I am doing. I am a store. I'm a teacher. Like, I do websites. I am not starting a store. I don't even
Right.
know what you're talking about. And so I want to say that was October, November of 2012. And I was like, I am not doing that. That's the last thing I'm interested. I have a lot of clients that I serve that have retail stores, and that is crazy. I don't know anything about that. And they said, no, really. Like, I really think that you should take the money that you've raised, and we should, do something bigger with that. Something that people love shopping, and they love shopping for a cause. Well, that year I had won. So the Rural Letter Carriers Association, it was mainly women of rural letter carriers.
Mm-hmm.
I helped random lady's grandson, Lucretia Noble. So Lucretia, if you happen to hear this, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because she is the one. It was a random person. I helped her through the blog, ilovela.com. And her grandson was born deaf, ended up getting cochlear implants. And so I just helped her just in talking to her, and through email communication and referring her to the right doctors. And her grandson went on to get a cochlear implant, and was did very well with it at a young age. And so she came to me and she said, during this year, like, this was like when we were doing the Socks for Sound and everything, she said, I would like to bring you to Buffalo. And I said, okay, Buffalo. The only thing I know, Buffalo, like some Darcy's Pipe, Buffalo, like horseshoe, And so she said, no, like New York. She
Buffalo,
said,
New York.
yes.
Okay.
So she's like, I'd like you and your family to come. And she said, we are going to do a fundraiser for you. And then we'll present at our annual event. We'll present you with a check. And I was like, well, of course. So they paid for our hotel room. My husband and I and our daughters drove. They were about your kid's age.
Uh-huh.
And, I was like, oh, this is so great. And I'm thinking, just grateful, because our donations came in the form of $50 to $100. So I'm thinking, man, this is going to be really great. We're going to get a couple $100, and this is going to be amazing. So we go to the event, and they call me up on stage, and they presented a check to me for $60,000.
No way. Whoa.
And
Come
so
on.
I had absolutely no idea. It was insane. And
Yeah.
it was amazing. And so this auxiliary, these women raised the funds for a year. They did things to raise the funds, and then they presented it to me. And Lucretia was the president. And so the president gets to pick a new cause every year, and she picked us. Over the years, because I've been doing this for so long, you kind of forget these stories until you retell them.
That's
and then
amazing.
It's like, oh my gosh, my heart just swells with so much. I'm so grateful just for, of course, just everybody, God, but just retelling the story is always the best. So thank you for asking about it. So then we had Socks for Sound. And so I say no to my friends, and they're like, no, come on. And I said, I have no idea how to open a store, how to go buy. So that was in December-ish. And I signed a lease, and we opened in April of 2013. And so we started at 750 square feet. And then about 9 years ago, we moved to our current location. I had a Rochester store for a while. I closed that after COVID. So we were shut down during COVID.
Sure.
And then for my personal sanity and well-being, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not going to reopen that one. I'm just going to do one thing. I'm going to do it really great. And so that's what I have tried to do is just,
Certainly done
oh,
that
well, thank
really
you.
great.
I am so passionate about what I do. I love our people. I love our community. And it's a pleasure to serve our customer base and to be around other business owners and just doing all the things. So I can't have my passion. That's for sure.
Right. And how does the nonprofit tie into the retail store now?
So pros, they are separate. So
Uh-huh.
the store is for profit and the foundation is a nonprofit. But when everything is said and done, we give money to the foundation.
That's
Now, the
awesome.
foundation is successful in its own right.
Yeah.
In the beginning, for the first, ever, it took us doing that. But now we've been doing it for a while. And so it's quite a beautiful story. And Joan, who runs the foundation, is so passionate about helping people. And so to be surrounded with a great team and my staff at the store, it's just a joy to go to work every day.
Love it. And people coming to shop at your store can know that they're helping out with that, with everything
Absolutely.
they buy. That's
Yes.
awesome. So maybe it's the first time somebody's heard the term cochlear implant today. Tell us about what that is, maybe compared to like a traditional hearing
Okay,
aid or something.
sure. So it's actually, I'm going to take this off. So when I take these off, I have two of these. I'm bilateral, right? So there's one on each side. So there's actually a computer. So my voice may have changed because when I take these off, I can't hear. So I always joke and say, when my husband makes me mad, these come off, and I'm like, I am done with this conversation.
Right.
And then it becomes very one-sided. But so when I take these off, there's a computer chip inside my head, and that computer chip is programmed to this. Okay, so this is a magnet. This is a microphone. This is a battery. These batteries die. They're rechargeable about every 4 hours. And then this actually is a computer. And this computer holds my personal program for my hearing loss. So I don't hear out of my ear like you do. They don't work at all. But when I put this on over, and then that magnet stimulates the electrode array, it brings a sense of sound and perception of sound. I still struggle. It's still difficult for me in like restaurants, bars, at parties, places that don't have, you've got carpet in here and softer things with fabric. But if you go into a restaurant with tall ceilings and the
I mean,
acoustics are
very
great,
echoey and
it's very difficult for me. As all my friends say, the ones that don't have hearing loss, it's hard for us too, Michelle. But so that provides a sense of sound. The surgery is extremely expensive. We don't pay for the surgery,
Mhm.
but we do have the devices that we give to individuals who need them. This device now, with all the bells and whistles and the accessories, you're looking at, probably $20,000. So it's quite costly.
Mm.
And insurance will only cover the device if you have it once every 5 years, all the things. Homeowners, you can't claim it on your homeowners. Yes, but even though I don't hear like you, what an amazing gift to be able to even sit here and have this conversation, because 30 years ago, 35 years ago, this
Mhm.
wouldn't have been possible. And it's such a medical miracle. And I am so grateful just every day to be able to have the gift to have my hearing back.
Mm. No, that's amazing. You said yours has a little computer that's programmed to you.
Yes.
I mean, how does that work? And I know everybody's a little bit different, but how is it like
Okay,
programmed to you?
so I go to my audiologist and they literally like take my implants off. They hook them up to a computer just like we have here today. And then we go through they stimulate the internal device inside my head. And then they go through and they test all of the different electrode arrays inside my head. And then she's like, oh, okay, so I mean, I've been doing it so long. I'm an easy person to program because I'm like, oh no, like the lower pitch sounds need to be raised a few levels. So we just go back and forth. When a child gets cochlear implants, I say every time, they need a new size in shoes, they either need a new ear mold or their programs change because they're growing so fast. Also, if an individual I have found, I mean, personally, through personal experience, if you're super stressed, if you live a stressful life, whatever if you get sick, the program and the mapping tends to change. So I go now about once a year to get my programs just kind of cleaned up, touched up. I was just at the audiologist last month.
Mhm.
And so they just go in and they kind of tweak them and give them it's kind of like an oil change, I guess,
Right.
is what I would say
Okay.
for your car.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned earlier on, and I think it's a powerful statement. You said, everybody was telling you that Ellie was fine, but you as the mom knew that something else was wrong. And it took that expert 20 minutes to find that, no, there is an issue here. It's just crazy how we can go through so many different people, but once that one expert that really knows their craft can really get an answer for you fast. I just think that's amazing.
And that's why I always tell people, pay attention to your instincts, pay attention to what your gut is saying, what your heart is telling you, what God's telling you, whatever that is, because it's usually right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's usually right.
Speaking of expertise, you're the expertise in style and fashion over at District 23. You did something cool with me. You started the process, at least when I was there the other day prior to our Local First and Land of Lincoln event. You were taking me through a color match deal. So talk to us about what that is and what you do there.
So when I was in high school, I had an art teacher and it was called Color Me Beautiful. So it's color analysis where the premise was there were 4 seasons back then. This is a long time ago. Okay. And so 1991. And it was my senior year. She would say your spring, summer, winter, or autumn. And she would bring you out to her house. She would put all these different colors on you. And then she would tell you your best colors. And I remember blue was one of my best colors. And that always stuck with me. It was something that my mom took me to. We got some makeup. I don't know, maybe like a glamour shot. I can't even remember. Like I have these like core memories of doing this with my mom. And so color analysis was a thing back in the 80s and 90s. And then it just it went away. And I feel like everything is cyclical, right? And so I started around COVID. I'm always researching. I'm always studying. I'm always taking classes all the time. I'm a teacher. I'm also a student all the time, right? So I took some class on color analysis and I was like, dang, this really relates directly with what I do every day in serving our customers. And people come in and they're like, I need, an outfit for an event. And then they come out of the dressing room and I'm like, I don't know. I think we can do better. And started really realizing the influence of color, not only on how it makes a person feel, but how their skin responds, how their eyes respond, what makes them look most natural, most vibrant, most alive. So I started my color analysis journey in 2020, and I did that online with a lady out of London. It's really hard, actually. It's color theory, and it's understanding how colors react. So art theory, I was never a do-it-yourselfer, as I said. So art class and all of that were so foreign to me. And so I got my first certification. And then I was like, I really liked what it was about. So that was through Chrissy Riesel out of London. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to further this. So I went to the lady it's Karen Brunger and International Image Institute. And I was like, I want to learn from the best. So I got certified under Karen. And Karen is out of Canada. And I have a couple certifications with her. I'm getting ready to get another in March in the Bahamas. I'm very excited. So I was like, I jumped on that one. So just doing some more training. And then I am also certified in the Color Me Beautiful. And I did that because I wanted to see what it was about. We do a much deeper analysis and up to 23 seasonal colors, but we figure out what your undertone is. We figure out if you're warm, if you're cool, and then what season you are. And then we go into, you can be a flow. So you might be between spring or summer, or whatever it is. And so I do all the color matching, the flagging. For men, I help you pick your best, and women, your best attire if you're going to be speaking, your best suit color, your best neutrals. Is it brown? Is it black? So I have warm undertones and I lean right. I lean to the autumn palette, but I'm kind of right in the middle between spring and autumn. Gold jewelry. So everything I wear is gold. My skin reacts best and looks the most beautiful when I have gold on. And I started wearing my hair curly. I took all these style classes. I used to straighten my hair. My hair is naturally curly, and really trying to step into who I naturally am. I've never believed in filtered photos or anything because I'm real. My customers are real. And so it was like, how can I step into who I truly am? And it was through color analysis that happened. And it's just something that is so transformative. And I have seen alters the life of a man. And the reason that I think that is, I've tried to figure this out and I was like, well, this is why. So as women, we can curl our hair. We can add makeup. We can put lipstick on. We add jewelry. We can do bling. We can pull our hair up. We can
Yeah.
pull it back. We can wear it on the side, add bigger earrings, a little more blush if we're not feeling it. As men, when you're having a bad day, you're just having a bad day.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe put a hat on.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah. I take
what-
this hat off.
like,
There's not much I'm doing with this short hair.
Yeah,
There's only a
okay,
few ways I
so-
can do it.
right. So it's like, and we all have those days where we don't feel great about how we look, right? I mean, would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Yes. Like, I'm just not feeling it today. I don't feel great. Even
Uh-huh.
if you're fit, even if you're all the things you feel like good physically, but you're like, this just doesn't look right on me.
Yeah.
It's normally you've got the wrong color on. So I teach people how to step into their own personal palette. I help define that. I give you your personal palette, and then I help style you so that you can really step into who you are intended to be. Your whole closet transforms. It usually takes a person 5 years, because if you have a whole closet full of black,
Right.
and black isn't your
Exactly.
color, it's going to take a while to go through your wardrobe. But the premise is that you want your wardrobe to be indicative and reflective of your personal palette,
Yeah.
so that anything that you put on, you feel amazing in because the colors are right. And so that's like the short version of it. It is actually very deep. For women, I give them a big book of makeup. So they get all their lipstick colors, they get their blush colors. I mean, all of it. Eyeshadow, they can go shop at Ulta, Sephora, Merle Norman,
Yeah.
wherever it is, CVS, and they're not going to pick the wrong color because we provide that. So it's quite incredible. And, somebody said to me, a young girl said, well, how does this translate to me? And I said, well, I'm going to tell you how this does. And you're going to say, oh, yeah, that is important. So I said, I know you're engaged. And she said, I am. And I said, have you picked your wedding dress out? And she said, I have not. And I said, well, everybody has their best white. So it may be bright white, it may be cream, it may be, a little more oatmeal. And that is very important if you want, to pick out a dress that's going to enhance your natural features
Yeah.
and look the most harmonious on you. And she was like, oh my gosh. And the same with the man in wearing a suit or a tuxedo. There
Uh-huh.
are some choices that are better than others. I never tell people that they can't wear a color, but I will show you why. Maybe brown is a better choice than black, or white is a better choice than cream. There's a version of red for everyone. And so I'll show you those things.
Absolutely. No, I think all my girls, and when I say my girls, my 2 daughters and my wife would absolutely love that. We might just have to come in as a family and I'll get it done. Now, I might find that I wear an awful lot of black and black's not my color. I might find, that out, but
I recently helped a lead singer, and his color was black, and actually his color was not black.
all right.
And he's since gone on and gotten a really big job in pharmaceutical sales. And so I've helped him shop. We go, to the local stores, and I helped him get his first suits. And it's really been an incredible journey. He texts me all the time. He's like, all right, I'm getting ready for a presentation. This looks right?
Right.
This is my palette. I mean, he has his palette, but just making sure. And to me, it's just so fun because, and to hear people talk about how it's transformed their lives and really helped them step in to be more confident, because we all need that, right? This world's tough. It's hard. We watch social media. We're all like, oh,
Yeah.
like, man, they look really good or whatever. And so it's just helping embrace naturally who you are and really step into the light of who you're meant to be.
No doubt about it. No, my girls would love that. I'm going to
They
have to
would-
send all
they
3
would-
of them your way.
Yes, they would absolutely love it. Last week, we were having a party at the store, and I had a man come in. He was in Carhartts, and I could tell he was on a mission. It was really cold that day. And so I was like, hi, I can tell you're on a mission. Well, how can I help you? And he was like, well, I want color analysis. And I was like, you do? And he said, yes. And he said, I'm going to buy it for my family, but I really want it for myself.
There you
and
go.
oh my gosh, I loved it. I
That's
loved
awesome.
it. I loved it. It made me so happy. And so I can't wait to do it. And it was so busy in the store at the time that I didn't get a chance to say, where? How did you, who told you?
Sure.
Because he was so personally excited. He was more excited about buying it for himself than he was as a gift for his wife and daughter. And that was very fun.
That's awesome. So along with that, of course, you stock some really great things in the stores. So how have things changed over the years? When you initially first opened up the retail side, what all did you have in there compared to what you have now?
Well, how things have changed, or I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And some days I still feel like that.
Right.
But we were only open 20 hours a week when We first opened it, it was like every other weekend, our hours were a mess. Thursdays from, I don't even remember, 4 to 6, no hours that anybody in their right mind could remember. And so I've gotten a clue since then. We're
Sure.
open 7 days a week now. So that just having consistent hours, showing up, being there when the customers are shopping, that has changed a lot. But one thing that I will say that has not changed is my loyalty to our community and the loyalty of the community to me. And it's just gotten greater and stronger. And that has not changed. And I've been very fortunate to have been well received in our community. I try to be present. I try to be involved. I try to do as many events as I can,
Hmm.
not only for our store, but for other people. I try to not ever say no. If someone needs something for a fundraiser, big or small, we try to give in some way
Hmm.
because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to leave this world a better place than we found it. And I try my best every day. My staff, I empower them to do the same thing, or I hope I do. And so a lot of things have changed, but so many things haven't. My passion, my heart for who I am and what I do and the people I serve is stronger than it's ever been.
That's awesome. I know you have a great following on all your social channels and everything. So how have you done that over the years to build such a tremendous following on social?
Well, I say I'm certified in about everything. So I'm a certified social media expert, but I got that way, way, way before Instagram.
Yeah.
So back when Facebook was just coming out. And so I built our Facebook page early on. And I remember our second or third year in business, we hit 10,000. I remember getting a bottle of champagne and celebrating. And I had no idea that that was like a big deal back then because it
Yeah.
didn't really seem like a big deal back then. But to grow the
But it
social,
was. Yeah, that
it
is.
was it was, hindsight's 2020. So I think just being present, being showing up.
Mhm.
And so even when I feel like not being on Facebook and or Instagram, we still show up. I have done since 2020 a weekly Facebook Live. My staff, I'm empowering them to get on and do it. I let them pick their topic and do what they want. And that's great because they're so much better and smarter than me. They're young and they're fun and they understand. We do a lot of sales training at the store. And
Yeah.
so all my staff understand our products. They understand the benefits. They understand where things may fall short. And so they help our customers shop. So they're great. They're naturals at just getting on and talking. And these kids, none of them are scared of social media whatsoever. I would say how I've done that is just, being consistent in my everyday life with that as
Mhm.
well. And I think that, if you're consistent and persistent, that is one, strong way to building a good following.
No doubt about it. How do you go about stocking your store? How do you go about figuring out what inventory you're gonna have in the shop?
Oh, that is such a topic. It's hard. So I'm the only buyer, and when I moved the store to the current location and bought that building, there's an upstairs. So I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great. I'm now going to be able to work on my business rather than in my business." And
Mhm.
so put my office upstairs. It was nice and quiet. I thought I'm going to be able to do my Facebook lives, up here, all of this and that. And what I found was after I did that for about 18 months, I completely lost touch with not only my staff, but also what was going on in the store. And most importantly, my customers.
Sure.
And so now my desk is, you did the building tour. It's
Yeah.
like, yes. So it's like right in the middle of the store. Like
Mhm.
it's not on the floor, but it's as close as you can get.
Sure, sure.
So, and that to me has really been essential for me understanding what's selling, what the customers are saying, what my staff is saying.
Mhm.
And I am a very present business owner. And I think in retail, where it moves so quickly and the store's big, you have to control your inventory, you have to control your
Yeah.
cost. And so, me being there and being present is really fundamental to the operational success of the business. So I go to market every 6 weeks to see not only what I think is cute, but also what's trending, what
Yeah.
other people are doing, what's new. Everyone's new. And I've been around a while. So the new broom always sweeps clean, is what my husband says. So there are people that are new. They may be, doing it differently. And I still continue to learn from taking these trips and seeing what's out there and going to market. But I am the sole buyer for my store.
Yeah. So any new trends coming out in 26 that you've seen?
Well, so it's like when you buy a red Jeep, then you see everybody with a red Jeep,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure.
So it's like, well, I never noticed that there were so many red Jeeps until I got a red Jeep.
Right.
And so I would say trends are colors. So color is a big thing. We've got the Pantone colors, the color of the year. And so it's really fun to see that becoming more predominant in the industry. When you go to market, they always announce the color of the year, but it's more relevant to me now than it ever has been because that's what we do. So we help people, we teach them how to shop too, not just in my store, but every store. You're going to eliminate 75% of what would work for you if you went to a big box store or any other independent, locally owned store because the palette isn't right.
Right.
So I would say color is a trend. I would say jeans are a trend. Business casual is a trend.
Mhm.
So we still see a lot of people dressing up. And then I say, and then the trend is whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
And whatever
There
you
you
feel
go.
best
Love it.
in.
Love
And
it.
that's what the trend is going to be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, and you said, yeah, there's still plenty of people that wear a suit every day or anything, but it is trending much more business casual
It
in
is.
most areas.
Yes.
So,
yes.
of course, you have all the great clothing items at your shop. What are some of the things outside of the fashion and the clothes that you guys carry?
So we have a lot of gifts. So we have candles. I try to have as many local people as I can. So Kristen DeWeese from Honeydew Candle Company is amazing. Her story is amazing. She started her company when she was at home with, I think, her 6 kids during COVID.
Mhm.
And her business has grown. She does business in all 50 states. She's out of Chatham. So we have her candles. They are a continual bestseller for us. She's fabulous to work with. And right now, she has us on like delivery every few days
Sure.
because, we keep selling through everything. So we have her. Cheryl Kelly has some facial products. And then we have puzzles, we have gifts, we have games, jewelry, shoes, a little bit of everything, but not too much. So our main focus is clothing. And I would say about 75% of the store is women's clothing.
Love it. Love it. So, yeah, so with the guys, when you do the color matching and stuff with them, do you send them somewhere else to get most of their clothes then?
So I do. So anyway, unless they want to dress, and I mean, I'd be happy to help them with that too. But my most recent customer, we went to Wilson's Haberdashery. So he got 2 or 3 new suits, a sport coat, some new tops, and then I have several that I'm working with, and I will take them. Well, I will say these are the choices. Let's go and see what they have, and that is really fun to spend somebody else's money.
Right.
I love
exactly.
that. I'm
That's
like,
so
this
cool.
looks amazing on you, and you need it.
Uh-huh.
Go pay for it. It's just so much fun to see people happy once they learn their colors. It really unlocks something within them that they didn't know they had.
Yeah. No, and I think that's really cool that you're working with another local business, small business here in town to be able to do that for
That's what it
somebody.
takes.
That's super cool. So anything else you're involved with locally, associations, nonprofits, anything like that?
Let's see. So the chamber, I've been a member of the chamber, and so is my husband forever. So years and years, 25 years. Local First, and then Land of Lincoln Networking Group. Over the years, I've been with like NABO, that was National Association of Women Business Owners. I've been on lots of boards, Rochester Educational Foundation. I've done a lot of things. Those things change as you age, and what's relevant when you have little kids compared to like where I am now. So really, it's just about, serving my community. I step in when there's a need. I also love helping other independent business owners. So, if so, I have a friend that's starting a retail clothing boutique locally here. She's opening January, February. So when they reach out, being able to, help them any way that I can. And we're all in this together, right?
Love it. Love it. Well, again, like I said, if somebody's out there listening to this on drop date, it is Christmas. So do you have any holiday traditions that you guys do family-wise?
Well, I'm so excited because my girls are going to be home. So we raise them to be these independent, young, beautiful females that go out into the world, and then they do that. And you're like, oh my gosh. And the one thing that I always say, Robert, is I am so happy I like my husband because it would be miserable if I didn't, because we're together a lot.
Right.
We're each other's best friend, and he is my number one fan. But it's really weird once the kids go off. It's like, oh, okay, like that went really quick. So both girls are going to be home. So we are spending Christmas Day at home together. And my love language is gift giving. That's it. I love giving gifts. It's just what I do. So I don't need to receive them, but I love giving them and just being around the Christmas tree and having the whole day with them and catching up on life. We may go see a movie. The housemate is out. So we like thrillers and
There you go.
anything fun. We'll play some games, have some alcoholic beverages maybe, and just enjoy the time with each other because it is few and far between now.
Right. Heck yeah. Now, you mentioned the love language of gift giving. I would imagine that helps you out at the store too. People in there buying gifts for people all the time.
Yes.
Right. So you
Well,
probably love that.
And somebody will come in and they'll say, I'm shopping for my granddaughter. And how old are they? And they may say, I don't know, 21 or 25, 16, and they will be possibly way off on what they're picking out. And I'm like, I think that we could probably do better. I'm not sure if the 16-year-old would like this long Brighton necklace, but they may love this short gold chain that we have over here and try to lead them in that direction. And my staff are equally great at providing suggestions. But yes, so the gift giving, we love helping our customers and we wrap everything beautiful and it's just fun. I always say that we hope that when people come in the store, they can feel the energy and passion of which we do business every day and just making people feel great about shopping locally.
Love it. So we've talked a lot of business. Is there anything you do to help elevate your life personally?
I think every relationship takes work. And so I work really hard at loving my husband. He is amazing and just really having a great relationship, having a lot of fun with him, helping him however I can. He helps me. And it's really been a fun season of our lives because we did get married and then had children so quickly.
Sure.
And then we're both business owners. And so, you take all of that and we've never had much time for us. And so it's a really beautiful stage in our life right now to be young and have raised our children and still be ready to go have fun and do all the things. So I would say the biggest thing for me is I feel like when your personal life is in check, it really helps make your professional life a whole lot easier and more smooth. And so I try to take care of myself. I try to eat as healthy as I can, but I enjoy life too. So if I want the cake, I'm going to eat the cake.
There
If I
you
want
go.
the cocktail, I'm probably going to drink the cocktail.
Well, like you said, it's always a party at District 23. You said that on a clip we did a couple of weeks
it's
ago.
just- and not so much always. I always when I say that, then I'm like, oh God, do these people think I'm like insane? And not so much. I think it's just a party in terms of celebrating life, celebrating each other,
Absolutely.
being around each other. But it is always a good time.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, Michelle, so much great stuff today. I like to close with these last couple of things. Let's give the audience a piece of advice, one on the personal side, one on the professional side, to help them elevate their life or business.
Okay, so this one's true personally and professionally. What goes up comes down typically. There's seasons in life for everything. And I think the biggest thing for me would be remembering that it is just a season and that tough times don't last, tough people do. And just knowing that the sun is going to shine tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day. And we all get down. We all have bad days, weeks, months, bad years. I mean, after COVID, it was terrible for retail. And, I feel like most of us have been climbing out from that for 5 years, but just keep going because there's something greater on the other side. Keep believing in yourself, keep showing up every day. And I mean that personally and professionally and giving it your all. If I'm going to do it, I do it and I do it well. So that's why I don't overextend myself. I don't belong to 100 organizations
Right.
because I know I can't do it and do it well. So I pick the things that I'm passionate about and I give it my all. And so that's my suggestion, both personally and professionally.
Love it. And is there anything we can do community-wide to help all of us here elevate Springfield and the surrounding communities?
Absolutely. And that is shop local, support local, get involved in some way, shape, or form to help make Springfield not only what it is, but even greater.
And if somebody wants to get involved with you, either on the nonprofit side or District 23, where do they go to learn more?
So they can go to district23.com or ciafonline.org. And all of that is located at district23.com. So nobody has to write anything down, but we would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, appreciate you coming down and talking with me. It's been great.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Such a great story, and hope you have a wonderful holiday.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Well, we're going to let Michelle get back to elevating Springfield, but for the rest of y'all, We'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
All right, come on, Michelle. Great stuff. So much great stuff to discuss. Well, Merry Christmas, y'all. If y'all are listening to this on drop date, it is Christmas. Hope you guys are having a wonderful time with family today. Gorgeous in Springfield this week. Hey, unseasonably warm. I will take every single bit of it. But I hope y'all are having a great Christmas so far. Thank you for tuning in and listening to Elevate Springfield. So, a couple of things before I begin, though. I do want to thank our friends over at Acosta Angeli Roofing, your neighborhood roofing pros. Hey, whether you need just a small fix or a full replacement, whether you're residential or commercial, hey, give them a shout. Juan, Tony, Zach, the entire team over at Acosta Angeli will take care of you. Highly recommended. Give them a shout for any of your roofing needs. So, great story from Michelle. A couple of things I want to touch on. She mentioned that the foundation was her life's work. We talk a lot about purpose on this show and finding that purpose. And when you do find that purpose, it's going to get you through all those tough things. It's going to help you achieve those big, massive 10X goals that you want to achieve, because without purpose, it is very difficult to persist. So we all need to have purpose in our life. So if you haven't found that yet, take some stock this next week as we go into the new year and try to figure out what that purpose is for you personally and professionally. Michelle's found that, and that is a great endeavor that she has, doing some phenomenal work, making a tremendous impact here and internationally. You might recall she said $564,000 worth of equipment to that organization. Just phenomenal. Another story that I thought was really powerful that she mentioned was when she was talking about that mother's intuition, where they went to many experts and they all said her daughter was just fine, nothing wrong, right? But she persisted through that because she knew as a mother that something was wrong. And it was when she found that expert, he was able to figure out what was going on in about 20 minutes. So I think we can all learn a lesson from that. Find the right people. Find the people that have the answers you need. Find those experts. Rely on them. Lean on them to get the answers you need, and persist until you get to that person. Find that expert that can help you out. She also talked about the importance of shopping locally and supporting local endeavors, supporting local organizations. I'm highly involved in a lot of those things around here, and I certainly push supporting local whenever possible. When you're helping your friends and neighbors here, so much more of that stays within our communities. So if we all made a concerted effort to do more of that, it will certainly go a long way to help us all grow together. Another quote that she had: tough times don't last, tough people do. There's going to be seasons for everything. There's going to be ups and downs, but it's that persistence, it's that toughness, it's that grit, it's that hustle muscle that we talked about that's going to get you through those tough times to the other side. So, hey, again, I hope y'all are having a wonderful Christmas. We've got New Year's coming up. We've talked a lot about making sure we have our plans and targets in place for next year. Hope y'all have done that already. But take today, enjoy time with the family, and have a very Merry Christmas from all of us here at Elevate Springfield. Be back with more after the break.
When I first walked into Shudokan Karate Club, I was just looking for a way to get stronger, but what I found with so much more. Here we train in traditional karate, the real stuff, passed down through generations. Every punch, every kata has purpose. I've learned self-discipline, confidence, and how to protect myself. Not just in class, but in real life. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being prepared. This is more than a club, it's a way of life. Join us at Shudokan, traditional, powerful, real. Ki-ai!
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, don't forget, while you're out on social, check ours out. You can check my personal one out at Robert Farrell at everywhere. Check out those Elevate Springfield pages, those Big Dog Business Coaching pages as well. Check us out over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like or a follow on any of those channels. We would certainly appreciate it. So hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.
Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agent, is here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343.